Hey guys, welcome back to the Chop Block. I know it's been a little while. I haven't put out any content or anything of the sort in about a month now, I think. I want to say. Last episode was with Ant and B Wong, mental health. Today, we're taking a different turn, shifting gears, I guess you could say, you can call it. We're doing another car-centric episode, so right off the bat, if that's not what you're looking for, then tune in next week. I don't know. So I don't want to say bashed or hit over the head with this for my previous car episode, but it was very Eurocentric according to some people. So today we're taking a different turn. We're heading over to the Rising Sun, JDM world, Japan. And for that, I have two guests joining me today. It was supposed to be a total of 3 guests. However, one of them couldn't make it. Busy doing tuning and dyno things. You know who you are. So welcome back, the one, the only, Rick. Say hello.
Hello.
You want to tell the people who you are?
My name is Rick, and I'm back for the first time.
Oh, technically speaking,
yeah,
the third time. It's your third episode.
Oh, that was part 1 and 2 in the
That's right, because that conversation went lengthy.
Okay.
I wish I had cameras rolling. Then that would have been
time.
really, really good. And then I have, for the first time, joining me, the Nizmo Parts Lord, the one, the only, Dylan.
Hey guys.
Say hello.
What's going on?
Tell the people who you are.
I'm Dylan, Nizmo Parts Plug owner and operator.
All right.
What's going on?
There you go.
That's legit.
So
that sounds important.
He's known by a lot of people in the YouTube world, apparently, so I'm told. So I don't know what that means for me. But
you got a channel?
No channel. Actually, no, I do. There's a couple of things that we put up there. Just
there you go.
Or the parts I'm opening up. Some edits that we do for some of our personal cars, but that's it.
Sounds like a plug.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I set him up.
Yeah. Dad joke.
Dad jokes.
That was a dad joke. Oh, he's a dad, so he's got the.
Yeah. How many kids?
2 and 1 on the way.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, finally a boy.
Having a boy, that's right. 2 girls.
Keep trying till you get one, right?
Yeah. Doggy style with boots on. Always works.
I heard facing the moon also helps too.
Oh, moon's always facing me, man.
I think it's position and how you take it.
All right, moving on. So like I said, today's episode is going to be pretty much covering JDM, car talk, that sort of thing.
And so far we're off to a good start.
And yes, so far we're talking about which way to face during intercourse. Fantastic. So I got to ask you guys, right? Because I asked this on the last episode that I did, car centric. Rick, we didn't really touch too much on that in our episode, and Rick's a really big car guy, and I know Dylan is too. Obviously, you run a business that's pretty car centric.
He's bigger. Yeah. I have like one car.
We're all fans of
I had like
cars.
one car.
But those are Japanese, but that's where that's where our home is. With
I wanted to get that bumper sticker on the back of my car. It says, it used to be cool. You ever see that?
You used to be cool?
Oh, Nelson has that on his car.
My cousin?
Yeah.
Shout out
it's
to
a
Nelson.
Van.
If you're watching.
It used to be cool. It's a minivan.
That's
it's hilarious.
He loves his minivan.
I think it's his. I'm not sure.
I
remember seeing it in his driveway.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
I can't read, so
now you're stalking people? Fantastic.
No,
so my question to you guys is, what's your first memory where you knew you loved cars? Like truly passionately, like into cars?
You're in the hot seat, Rick.
I'll go all the way back to when I was playing with Hot Wheels.
Oh, okay.
That was like instant, man. I was like, wow, this car has great curves. It was really weird for me even look at them closely because I was a kid and you just play with them.
Right.
But then I started crashing them, crushing them, making it look like it was an accident.
Being a kid.
But yeah, that was my spark.
Oh,
for sure.
That explains why you've had so many car accidents. No, I'm kidding.
Bad.
Rick's actually a great driver. Yeah. I'm kidding.
Technically, it was like 2 or 3. They weren't bad or anything.
Last month?
2.
He's
just
Josh.
What about you, Dylan?
Incriminating.
Legos.
Really?
Legos, yeah. A lot of car different models. Yeah. So that was a big turning point. Did you have Hot Wheels? I did. I had a whole Hot Wheels collection, all of that. But Legos were really when I first felt like I was doing something towards the automotive field with building something, following instructions, trying to get to be exactly the same. Or just building a cube.
I get it. Because I remember having the tub and finding the wheels. That was the most important part to me.
Yeah.
And putting it on one of those flat pieces, put the four wheels on, you build a big car.
Yeah.
But I think you have enough pieces.
They had the racetracks too. You use them on, and they had the little pusher, so it would throw it down the whole track.
I didn't have that growing up. Did you?
No, I didn't have that either. But my cousin,
ramps?
I think it was my cousin Jason had it. Nelson's brother.
The young one.
The youngest one. Yeah. The youngest one of the cousins. And I think he had it. And I remember it being the coolest thing. It had like the loop, and you just like launched that. Didn't it have like something you could like hit, and it would just shoot it out?
It had like a little button that would throw.
Right. I remember hitting that thing harder, thinking it would go faster for some reason.
There's a YouTube channel where this guy makes these 10-minute videos of a car going through the track nonstop, and it goes throughout his whole house, out of his house, back into his house.
That's
it is the coolest looking thing, and it's one shot. It's all done in one shot.
No edits, just all
straight through. Right.
He perfects it, so every single time he puts a car on it,
it's a lot of work.
It's gonna work.
Yeah, a lot of work. That's pretty cool
with the camera on top of it, mind you. But yeah.
So you guys both mentioned your childhoods, like you being in car. So like, if you guys watched the previous episodes, you know where my passion for cars comes from. It's kind of like essentially my brother-in-law, my cousins, they were all car gearheads, and I kind of was born into it. So from that point forward, and then as I became an adult. Like, that was my next question for you guys. Like,
when you became an adult? When I became an adult?
When I became an adult?
I don't think I'm an adult yet.
No.
I'm a big kid.
Big kid.
Oh, well, whatever. What I'm saying, when I was able to actually drive is what I meant to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it took on a whole nother form. Because it was like, before that, it was always like a fantasy. It was like, yo, I can't wait to have this car and that car. I remember my dream car was a second gen. I know this is going to sound weird. A second gen Eclipse GSX.
That sounds about right. That sounds good.
That's legit.
No, for me, that's kind of like, because I was the closest thing I could get to an Evo at the time. Because you got to remember, when I was fantasizing about cars, the Evo wasn't in the States yet.
Yeah. It was unobtainable.
It wasn't even the Lancer yet.
Well, I mean, I guess you had the Galant VR4.
Close.
Yeah, the Galant VR4, I think, was the closest thing. It was like what they call the Evo Zero.
Yeah, baby.
It's a precursor to what the Evo became.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just a Galant instead of like the Mirage. Right?
Wasn't the Mirage
and the Galant were based on the same platform.
Remember that guy? He had one at Circuit City. I forgot his name.
The yellow one?
No, he bought a left-hand drive Evo. It was like a Mirage converted all-wheel drive. It was insane.
Oh, your old boss?
Ernie, his name.
Oh, yeah. I remember that guy.
Asian guy? He was such a dick.
I hope he's not watching.
I don't care.
Ernie, this one's for you.
Shout out to Ernie.
But your dream car is not too far from mine. Mine was the All-Track. All-wheel drive, 2.0.
You actually got to own.
You were into rally, so.
You got to own two All-Tracks.
They got caught cheating in 1994.
Oh, wow.
Custom turbos, not registered. They were out.
I always wanted a Lambo, and I always had an idea of like, you know what, I'll save up all my money.
The Countach?
Yeah, Countach, Diablo, and I always thought, maybe within 2-3 years after having a job, I'd save up every single dime and penny and just be able to get one.
But then how are you going to afford the insurance?
Forget how much parts
there
cost.
It is. That's probably one of my cars somewhere up there.
Oh, let me just throw it up on the screen capture. Yeah, so for those that don't know what a Celica All-Track is,
you did 2-liter.
You had one in red. Yeah. The thing
full-time all-wheel drive.
That was actually your better one because your first one was that black one.
The red one.
This was used in Group B rally cross, right?
Yeah.
Was it a Group B car? No, Group B.
They used first gen and this gen and the
Group B was more gnarly.
No, I know what Group B was. Yeah. But I don't think Group B was a thing anymore by the time this came out.
This was 89 when this came out.
Yeah, Group B was already over by then. I believe 88.
I thought they were still going on into the early 90s.
You know what? Let's do... Because we're doing it live here, people. We're doing it live. Not really.
Do it. Look up research. Do it.
DuckDuckGo, by the way.
I hope you erased your browser history.
Nope. Plenty of things on there. Here we go. I'll just go Wikipedia, even though Wikipedia's a bunch of shit.
Wow, there it is.
See, 83, 85, 86. So 86 was the last year. Yeah, that's what I thought, man.
86, they had the All-Track. It was air to water cooled stock.
It was the first gen, though.
Air to water,
which was, hold on, let me bring it up here.
Just look up that car. Just look up the Celica because it will show you what it was in.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, well, not that one, but that's like a regular one.
Oh, it's a Group B car.
I never liked that body style for some reason.
Yeah, it was way too square.
The all the other cars I like, just not that one. See that?
This was it?
That was the gen before. Or no. Couple gens before.
This is the
I think this is when they called it the Celica Supra.
No, Celica Supra was the one before this, and then they dropped the Celica Supra and came out with just a straight Supra.
Yeah.
They had the Mark II, and then the Mark III. It was an 86.5. They split it in half. Because I had a Mark III Supra, and that's when...
It's one of my favorite ones.
I had an 87. The 86.5 was the last time they used the two names at the same time for the car.
The Mark II Supra...
It was like
Mark II Supra is beautiful. We saw one at the last event we went to.
By the way, this is my go-to car in Forza, for sure.
What?
When I did the rally.
The Celica?
Always picked the nasty looking one.
Yo, these are actually... So this is technically speaking the first actual Supra, because the Mark I was a Celica Supra, like we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
It was like a trim, and then they broke it. They burned it.
Yeah. And then this was the actual first standalone Supra. I mean, this thing is
there was one other car they did that with.
What was that?
The Camry and the Solara.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was a Camry. It was a two-door Camry. And then they branched off and called it a Solara.
You said he owned a Mark III.
Because they had two-door Camrys. They were 87. Rare.
It was a 7M GE non-turbo.
Wow. Yeah, these things were so nice.
I just wanted to get into something, you know?
Actually, this is the color I always loved on the Supra. Yeah. I freaking love this
That's color. A very common color.
That's a Zenki model. You can tell with the front bumper. It has a couple revisions over the years.
Okay.
So I won't get into that.
No, I got to ask you about that. So, I'm a Euro guy, right?
Yeah.
And I know there's Koki and there's Zenki. What does that mean?
Zenki is the precursor, and then Koki is the facelifted version. Okay. They also had Chuki too, which was used on the S13. The pig nose was a Chuki, and then it went to Zenki, and then Koki at the end of its years.
And you're talking like S14.
No, so the S13 was actually still in production in Japan. They had the Koki version that went all the way up to 98.
I think we're jumping around all over the place for those that don't know. I was asking you like what those meant, but like I know that commonly it's referred to in the Nissan.
We'll say like pre-facelift and after facelift.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah,
thank you for that.
That's the U.S. conversion. What he just said.
Yeah. So see the front bumper.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, I see the difference between these two. Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, no, those are both the same.
Oh, these are both the same. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, that's clean.
Yeah, these are all like.
It almost looks like the BMW, the 8 Series. Damn, look at that black one. Jesus, no, that right there.
You can see this one right here. See how it doesn't have the center bar in the middle of the front bumper?
Oh yeah.
The rear taillights were a 3-piece design rather than the 2.
So this is the early one.
Yeah, the biggest thing on these that was really helpful for the body of the car was in the first facelift. Those moldings around the whole car were metal and plastic, and over time they'd rust out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Then when it went to the newer version, they, through research and seeing the car in its natural habitat, they went to all plastic. So this way there was no issues with the body rusting out. And
cheaper production too, I imagine.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I'm sure that has a lot to do with it.
But beautiful car. I mean, that was the first car I had when
this thing is fucking.
I was still going to school at UTI.
That was your first car?
Well, I had a Blazer. I had a Chevy Blazer I rebuilt at high school. A 99 Blazer.
Oh, is that the transmission issues?
4.6 Vortec.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's pretty.
Mom blew it up. Shouldn't change the oil.
Thanks, Mom.
We built it at school, and then I wound up trading it for a Supra.
Nice. Good move.
Yeah.
Good move. So that was your first JDM car, right?
Yeah, that was the first right into JDM scene.
You want to talk about what you're currently driving?
No.
I mean, okay.
No. It's
well, everybody, that's the episode. Have a good night.
Good
night. Rick, what was your first quote-unquote JDM car? Like Japanese car?
Like real deal Japanese car or just any Japanese car?
A real deal.
The 2000 Civic Type R.
No, I mean, okay.
That was my first real JDM car.
Well,
like actually,
that's true.
You gotta be specific with me, man.
That is true. God. So Rick had.
You got 2 people with OCD here. So.
What was it? 99?
You asked me a very specific question, man.
PK Type R.
I hate when I hear people say R Type. Oh, it drives me nuts.
Oh, shout out to R-Type. Remember that kid?
R-Type.
Who's that? Actually, don't mention
it's a Jaguar.
Yeah, I'll explain later. So this, it was just like this.
Yeah.
This is what you had.
You know, it's funny. It's got German OEM seats, Italian steering wheel.
Yeah.
Momo or Caro.
And who made the wheels?
The entire interior is red.
Who made the wheels?
Enki.
That's right.
Yeah. They've always they make all their wheels.
To me, like, not because it's the color, but to me this is like a unicorn to me.
That's Frank's favorite color. Come white, color. He calls it. Yeah. Okay.
And there is your Frank moment of the episode.
There you go.
Because there's always freaking one.
Over and out.
Over and
how long did you own that for?
Yeah.
Wow.
3 years?
I think a little longer.
Was it?
Yeah. And I barely drove it because I don't know where
to drive it.
Yeah. No, well, it's not that. It's just I want to go somewhere and park and walk away and not worry about it. Because the one time I parked my first Civic at the mall, they tried breaking in.
You want to describe that Civic?
I was a 93 Civic Hatchback DX with a built GSR turbo.
EG.
What did I say?
No, you said it right, but you didn't say the chassis code. Yeah, a lot of people.
Well, I mean, for the layperson, man. People don't know.
For the layman.
What the hell's an EG? He had an egg. And mine was that Captiva Blue Pearl.
And you probably kept it so clean.
It was. I bought it mint with the motor already in there. Then turbocharged it, blew it up, blew a ringland. A couple of them, actually. Okay. Melted them, to be more precise.
You rebuilt the engine and added a turbo or just added a turbo?
I rebuilt the block.
So for anybody that's wondering what that color looks like, because it is a beautiful color.
Right, yeah.
This was very rare color.
Actually, there's a lot of pictures of my actual EG online. Oh. You would have to search one of my usernames and
no social media. I used to work for Honda. I did in Westchester, PA. That was my first entry into the automotive field. I was entry-level technician.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I remember that day so vividly. Still have the shirt, Scott Honda.
Westchester, New York.
No, cool. Westchester, PA.
Oh, PA. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was living in Downingtown, and I was going to school in Exton at UTI.
Oh, shout out to UTI, not urinal tract infection.
Not urinal tract. Universal Technical Institute.
Actually, it's funny you mentioned them because they just recently opened one up here in Jersey.
They did.
Right off the Parkway in, I believe, Bloomfield, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Bloomfield. Not too far from where we are. But so you went to UTI as for automotive?
I did automotive core, and later during my stay there, I decided to go to North Carolina for NASCAR engine building.
Right.
And then Nissan Infinity Key and Scope technician training because I knew I wanted to be with the Nissan.
Yeah, you always had a thing for...
It was almost T-Pad. It was almost the Toyota program, but I decided...
I think it worked out pretty
really
good for you.
Pretty good.
Yeah, considering there's a bigger Nissan...
There's more lore to it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Toyota has their full section.
But they don't have anything.
They don't have anything. Well, at the time, they didn't have anything that was too provocative that I was interested in.
Yeah.
You know, but Nissan.
And they haven't for a long time until recently.
Yeah.
But we'll be talking about that on this episode for sure. And it's all going to be new to Rick because we were talking about. He's like, I don't know a damn thing about this.
We didn't script any of this.
No,
we're
just
some news going on.
Podcasts are not, dude. Podcasts are not supposed to be scripted. Yeah. Was any part of our last conversation scripted?
Absolutely not.
No, it wasn't.
Supposed to be in bed.
Well,
me too. Actually.
So I'm just glad I'm recording for a change, man, because it's been a little while since I sat down and had a conversation. Mm-hmm. Like we recorded a podcast and whatnot, and I felt like I was starting to get away from it to the point where it was like, should I go back? Shouldn't I go back? But you
got to keep moving with it. If you
but I spent such a long time. I feel like it's a long time away, like a month. You know what I mean? Because I was trying.
That is a long time.
It is.
If you want to be big,
right? Well, not being big, but being successful, right?
Yeah.
So you got to keep the ball rolling because if you take a long enough break, it won't become a routine for you.
There's a lot.
And that was the problem too, because I've already now taken 2 major breaks. This is the biggest one, but this was kind of like unexpected. So to explain to everybody, I had 2 guests that canceled on me last minute. I'm not gonna say who they are because they're gonna reschedule, so I'm not gonna put anybody out there. And then I went on vacation for roughly about 14 days or so. Went to the lovely land of Florida. Beautiful out there.
Where'd you go?
Did St. Augustine and did Orlando and went over to Lakeland to go check out a relative's house they recently purchased. So like Lakeland is between Orlando and Tampa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
any parks?
I did Hollywood Studios. That was the only park I did. We stayed at a Disney resort.
Was that called something else?
Yeah, that? MGM.
Yeah, I remember. I went to that Disney when I was a kid.
Yeah, Disney bought it from MGM. There's still like a lot of holdover things from MGM.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like the main walkway, the theater, which they don't call it the Chinese Man Theater anymore because it's not correct.
Okay.
It's not PC.
Yeah, not PC, and it's Disney. So I'm not getting into that, especially because of recent news. But anyway, it was a good time. I did the whole Star Wars Galaxy Edge part.
You see any cars out there?
Cars?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I did see? Actually, believe it or not, no. Like, are you talking about the movie or are you talking about real cars?
Real cars.
No, I knew that. I was just fucking.
Don't allow me to curse.
I was just fucking with you. See, I cursed. It's okay.
Okay, fuck you.
That one may be a bleep just because it's funny to hear bleeps every now and again. But anyway, I did see a first gen. Shout out to your cousin on this. A first gen Integra.
Oh my God!
In black at that.
Oh, I remember that car. I drove it for like a week.
This thing was pristine.
He bought it from the daughter of some guy that owned HP.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, bought her the car. She never
always
drove
had a story
it.
With a car.
She never drove it. It sat in the garage for like a decade, or maybe I don't know. For however long it's been there, the damn thing was leaking oil because it's been sitting so long. So you imagine the gaskets are gone.
Yeah, just blown out.
So he bought the car, drove it back, redid the gasket, and it was perfect. No air conditioner, which sucked. It was a 5-speed though.
In Florida, you need it.
Yeah, but I was driving in the middle of summer. It was horrible. It had a sunroof.
There you go.
So the one I saw was
it was Acura's attempt at the luxury line.
Yeah, but it was a coupe though.
Yeah, hatchback, I think.
Yeah, yes. You're right.
That's
I'm
nice.
sorry. I meant to say it was a 2-door. It was kind of resembling. Jesus, that one's like rattle can job.
Not that one. You got to go further back.
Gee, I can't find a proper black.
It kind of reminds me of the A86. They kind of look like the Toronto.
Yeah, and it was definitely around that time period too.
Yeah.
But and it's funny because you could see the lineage from this one all the way up until the DC5, which is
they just rounded it off.
They just basically rounded it off,
and extended a little bit. Yeah, I can see what you're talking about.
But this car was a nightmare, bro, because this was built on a Civic platform on the prior to the EF. He did put a lot of work into it, though. I remember him working a lot on that car. I don't know if he was OCD about it, but he was definitely working on that car. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe the motor that came in this was a ZC series motor, which is pretty much what they ended up using in the first gen CRX. So weird enough, this was built on a Civic platform, 4-door, which they actually did make a 4-door Integra, which I'm sure you guys are watching, saw that I ran into a couple of those. It was built on a Civic platform, 4-door, but it had a first gen CRX engine, which I think was a ZC. I know I'm probably going to get bitch slapped for this at a later time. Let me see here. Let me be accurate.
Honda Integra.
First VTEC engine, which actually was the B17 to come over to the States. First gen, 85. There we go. Known as the Honda Vereno. Interesting. And then it was a 1.6 liter dual overhead cam. So yeah, it was pretty sure it was a ZC.
It was a peppy little thing, I'll tell you that.
It was a ZC.
It was fun to drive.
Yep, right here. ZC engine.
Nice. Yeah. You're on the money. Don't doubt yourself.
Not that reliable, I don't think.
No, what, ZC motors?
Yeah.
No, not as reliable as the LS that came after. But yeah, man, those things are pretty cool. So that's the car, to answer your question.
Okay.
Fucking coming all the way around. That was the car that I saw that really stood out, oddly enough, because I wasn't like, I did see a handful of Miatas. Don't get me started on Miatas. Those things are like a plague now.
Hey, my boss, I found out he
fun.
races cars.
So, okay.
And he uses a Miata, and he showed me videos.
I'm not knocking the Miata. Don't get me wrong.
It has its place.
No, I love driving that car.
I would
is an awesome car to drive. I'm not knocking it, not the least bit. But now, you know this, they're like freaking everywhere, and you can't touch one for less than like $8,000 almost. That's clean.
There's a special group for the Miata people. You know,
I realize that's a more recent thing, though.
It's a more recent thing. It's kind of like what the Volkswagen community, more or less, I felt like was when they went down the Ocean State. They had a certain kind of culture that they always.
Yeah. And that culture's kind of transitioned
to more Miatas.
They drive by each other. They go like this. I'm out the window.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about, because I could see that, and it's a lot of like more show, obviously.
But you know what? A lot of different car guys have all those different things. You know, Subaru guys, they're always waving, they're honking at each other. It's nothing different.
Vaping down the highway.
All different ages too.
Yeah, it's
actually kind of cool.
You know what I realized? Subaru drivers and BMW drivers, very similar people.
Better watch what you're saying. She don't hear you.
No, but I mean, like the way they drive, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because they're like, dude, they're reckless.
No turn signals?
Yeah, that too. They're reckless. But Beamer, you get the arrogance coming off of a Beamer. With a Subaru, it's more like a recklessness. You know what I mean? As they're just, change like that. But I mean, like the all-wheel drive Subarus. So like BRZ not being counted. Yeah, because BRZ is like obviously rear-wheel drive.
I had an 07 STI, and it was
poor bastard.
Man, no, it was enjoyable. It was probably. I mean, it could be definitely.
Shout out to Brenton.
Glass training.
Who's that?
Who's that? No, you know who Brenton is.
No, I don't remember. I don't know. Who's Brenton?
You see him all the time at Duncan.
The guy always
showed up. Brenton. What's going on, man?
He show up in winter without a jacket.
Yeah, he's the guy that always shows up in shorts.
In the middle of winter.
West Indian guy.
Really cool.
No clue.
He drives the Buick. I think it's a Buick. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, shout out to Bren.
Shout out, Bren.
Next time you see Dylan, give him shit. I'm sure you're going to be listening to this episode because I mentioned it was.
I'm bad with names. There's a lot of people that you have to.
I'm just going to say, he's the black guy that comes around.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm sorry. I got to laugh at that because they were like, yeah, I don't know who he is. And all of a sudden, like, I mentioned that. And it's like, so. But any case, you were saying?
What was I saying?
You were talking about your Subaru, your 07 Subaru?
Oh, no. Like, I would always get the Subaru Wave if I was driving by another Subaru owner. You know, obviously WRX, STI, right. BRZ guys, girls. It didn't matter. They have a tight-knit community. And it's similar to when you see other, like, Jeep owners.
Yeah.
The old Jeep Wave.
Yeah, the old Jeep Wave.
No, I see it I see what he's talking about. I get a little jealous sometimes, man. I'm like, I want to roll.
Yeah. Nissan guys don't really have that. We just kind of, we know when you see the other car, you just say hi.
Yeah. Well, I respect the Nissan guys, to be quite honest with you.
It's different with
Honda dealing with too much. We got to worry about our shifter falling out of third, all the stuff rattling loose. So we don't have time to wave to other people.
I don't get that with the Honda.
No,
I get people dropping gears and just
screaming past,
just wanting to race me all the time.
What I find is more interesting when you go to a car meet and you get to talk to these guys. I will know no one at the car meet. As soon as I walk up to a Nissan enthusiast and we start talking, it starts to make a lot of sense. We have so many different connections or know so many different people.
That's why you're the plug.
Yeah, I guess so.
Can you get a little bit more up on the microphone? Or bring the microphone? Or bring the microphone.
Perfect.
That's perfect. There you go. Is this better?
That's better.
You just want to see me up close, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. I want to catch your. I don't know what. Anyway, so we're gonna cover the whole Nissan community, definitely. But being that you were talking about Subarus, by the way, my brother has, I guess it might be the last STI generation to ever be made. So for you guys that are keeping up at home with the car community, excuse me, 1 second.
Axed.
Yeah, okay. For those of you keeping up at home, Subaru pretty much killed off the WRX STI. Oh. Probably their last greatest hope. Why? Why? I know why. Do you guys know why?
Because they ran out of STI badges?
No.
They turned STI to a GR.
Well, not quite. That's a conspiracy theory. I'm glad you're bringing that up because that's the next topic that we're going to definitely cover. So, this is hearsay, and some people have wrote about this, and some people have commented on this. So I believe that the STI got killed off the WRX. One, because Subaru was terrible at emissions out of those boxer motors.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with that demand.
Especially when you're pumping that kind of power out of it.
And the way things are going. And
two, their core buyers, their actual core buyers are typically geocentric, environmentalist type individuals, to say the least.
It's not their core demographic.
No, that is their core demographic.
No, I mean, it's not the core demographic for the STI.
No, not for the STI, but for Subaru.
Such a small market.
For Subaru as a brand, which is bigger than just their STI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they've actually, realistically, they've done pretty well in the last 10 years in terms of car sales and reliability.
Are they making
I
money?
see them all. They're all over the place.
Are they making money though on the STI?
Probably not, because even with recent.
If it was more successful and if they made money, they'd probably continue to do development on it.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've noticed too in, say, the last 10 years, I feel like the next generation. The next generation coming up isn't as performance oriented as, say, like, all of our mixed generations are. You know what I mean? Yeah. In terms of being car enthusiasts. Shit, me and Rick last time we were talking about how, like, Duncan, for example, that place used to be packed at night with just nothing but car enthusiasts. Like, you know what I mean? Now you look around and it's like, okay, you have meets. I get it. But these were impromptu meets that people just hung out at this place.
Yeah.
It was just
knew
like
to meet up there, that there was going to be someone that you can socialize with
right.
Every
in
night,
the car.
Every Friday night.
Every Friday night. And Saturday sometimes.
Yeah.
But I feel like that community is kind of, one, it's aged out.
Yeah.
It's all online.
Well, I don't feel like there's as many people that are into cars.
Online, man. You didn't know that? Everybody joins
Think about it like this. How many people are really into cars that are younger these days? I mean, I can't think of too many.
I see a lot when I go out. When I go to different car events, car meets, I always tend to see the younger crowd there, and I'd always try to encourage them. If they want to learn something, if they want to see something on the car, I don't shoo them away. I try and additionally teach them a little bit of what, our generation went through and what I've learned from other older generations.
Well, and the other thing, too, those that are into being car enthusiasts, that are into JDM cars, I feel like they want to slide more than anything else. That I feel like drifting's gone further than, say, drag racing or circuit racing has in the past few years.
It's more mainstream for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because I guess you're a good person to talk about this with, right? More or less.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. Well, of course, like we're the 16th, we're actually going to Adam LZ's drift party at Englishtown. So it's a huge event.
I watch his videos.
Englishtown is pretty much turned into a whole drift central location.
Yeah, don't remind me. I had this conversation the last time with the other guys. It was just like, me and Jay were like, yeah.
You know how much it costs them to keep that drag open? And then at the same time have support for any kind of accidents, and the amount of money that they would get for just having Copart, right? It's Copart that bought out it's like $30 million.
Well, they're leasing it because that was
$30 million.
All right. I get it,
man. It was closed down a couple of times.
I'm sure they did, and the cost of it.
The whole thing, my understanding is the way it works is, and I don't want to go too long into this because I kind of feel like we touched on this last time. It was family owned and operated, right? Yeah. Okay. So the brother that was into drifting ended up taking over all of it. Okay. The brother that wasn't interested in cars at all, that had the drag strip of it, said, okay, have your way with it. I'm getting the money. So he sold out, cashed out, right? Which, whatever. He wasn't that into it. So it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. And it broke a lot of people's hearts because that drag strip was an icon in the drag world.
It was.
A lot of good memories I had there for sure.
No, well, not just us, but I'm saying in drag racing, period.
Yeah. A lot of history.
Summer Nationals were there for NHRA. It was the only NHRA sanctioned track, I believe, in the Northeast. No, I could be wrong about that. There might be one in Connecticut.
It was one of few.
It was very one of few. Yeah.
So
if you
think of all the other drag strips, where we don't have to travel a whole hour from where we're at in our location to get to Englishtown.
Yeah. Right.
It's a hop and skip, and
and the nearest good track to us in terms of drag racing is 2 to 3 hours away, depending on which one you go to.
Acco?
FP? I don't consider Acco a good track. Sorry.
That's all right.
But like Maple Grove or Maryland International Raceway, MIR.
Okay.
Which is an amazing track. Excellent conditions, especially if Jason Miller's running the event, which is like World Cup final and I believe a couple other events. But anyway, that's besides the point. But back to what we were talking about, I feel like drifting's become way more popular. So it was a good move on their part in terms of keeping, I guess, some sort of community going, but still making money at the time. It just kind of sucked for us as enthusiasts that were into drag racing or just wanted to go in a straight line.
Well, do you think the drag racing community doesn't like anything that the drift community has to, embody? Like, do you think they just don't care for it at all? They can't get into it because they're stuck in their ways? I mean, I think it's cool.
I think it's a different mindset.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different tool set in terms of driving.
Yeah, it's a different setup.
I don't expect the drifter that has a fast drift car that makes like 500 horsepower or whatever, that just slings that thing sideways, perfectly or whatever. Okay, I don't understand the whole lingo.
It takes a different amount of skill sets. I mean,
I don't expect
getting sideways.
I don't expect somebody like him to jump into somebody like Joe's car, for example, which is like a 13 or 1200 horsepower car that goes 8 seconds down in a quarter mile.
Yeah,
it's a different tool set. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you're talking more on like a regular basis, I think it's a lot harder to drift and drive in a straight line. If you're talking about regular cars, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
the car setups are different. The abuse that they go through.
But it's easier to approach drag racing than it is drifting.
Yeah. Although people can get into drift very simply, but they may not be able to perform in a certain group with the drift community. Mm-hmm. So at Englishtown, Club Loose, shout out Club Loose, they'll have, I believe it's 3 different ones. They have Group C, B, and A, and you're drifting within your range of ability. So when you see Group A perform, they're linking every corner. They're pretty much hanging out wide, touching almost to the rails. If you're still starting out, you're not doing those type of things. You're still trying to learn the maintenance on these cars. You're trying just to even learn the transitions. Mm-hmm. I mean, me myself, I don't drift. I'm not. You're there on the track. I'm a supporter, and I try and help the guys who need these parts.
Yeah, that's your clientele.
Nissan has always had a strong
drift since the very beginning.
With the 240s, you have the 350.
Right.
I mean, most of their platforms in the early 90s were all FR layout and was perfect. Everything was interchangeable.
I'm sorry, can you explain that to those layman's? FR?
Front engine, rear drive.
Yep.
Yeah, rear wheel drive.
Right.
Yeah, so for the most part, they were cheap to maintain. They're super customizable. There's a ton of aftermarket support. And people just loved to thrash them, and they held up. They were reliable for what they needed.
You just reminded me of Initial D.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny because we have to talk about that the last.
I imagine the cartoon of them drifting around.
You know what's funny? So when I became keen to Initial D back in like 04, 05, dude, that made me want to drift so bad. But it's funny because Initial D isn't just about drifting. It's circuit racing utilizing drift mechanics.
Yeah, you're using techniques.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Techniques to drive on the street. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Which was awesome. I remember the video game, the arcade game. Did you ever play that?
No, you told me you get the card and all that stuff.
You used to get a card, right?
I never saw. I never
cost
saw
a little
one.
extra to get the card, but you would need it in order to continue maintaining the car. And you would add. It was almost like Gran Turismo, where you can add like bits and pieces to the car, like different like looks. So your car could look something completely. It could be the same car. Say it was like mine was. I had an Evo 7 just because I'm a sucker.
Yeah.
And I had an RX-7 FC, which that's another car I absolutely love. Even though I don't like rotaries, that car's beautiful to me. What's that?
I said it's timeless. The car's timeless.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it looked like an S4. So it was an FC S4. If you're familiar with that trim.
It was FC F4?
SS, as in Sam.
I'm not a huge Mazda guy, but I know
that was like so you're familiar with FD Type R?
Yeah.
FD Type. There was an FD Type R, and I think Type 2 or whatever it was.
Type 2 Turbo.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, that was for the FD. The top of the line that you can get on an FC, if I'm not mistaken, was the S4, which had like slightly different taillights. It was like a facelift. It looked better. Had a nice ground effects.
It's the premium model of that.
It was the ground effects kit.
I almost bought one after I got in the accident. My Supra, I got hit from the rear. I got pushed into the next lane. I got hit head on.
Wow.
So the car was totaled. I was looking to go into different directions. I almost got into MR2, but quickly realized I didn't want something that
no storage on that thing.
Almost got into that. I was looking at FC. What was that?
Which gen MR2?
MRS.
Second gen?
Yeah. That's the best one.
Oh, yeah.
I really like it.
They're putting the Toyota V6 swap in those things. You ever see that?
Oh, yeah. You mean a Lotus?
We spoke about it, yeah.
Lotus Elise, pretty much? Or no, Evora.
It's not the motor from that car. It's from like the minivan.
But it's a similar thing. If you look at the Lotus Evora,
3.5.
it's the same shit, pretty much.
It sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, Initial D was dope. So like you got in it and it's like, yo, I'll race you this track, or I'm sorry, this mountain, whatever the hell it was, uphill, downhill. And the shifting was just like, it was up and down. It was like sequential shifting. So it was like, just slap it up, slap it down. But it was like, it was so much fun.
Sounds good.
Yeah, dude.
And you know what always attracts everyone?
Expensive.
The customization. And that's where they get us. And that's where, I come in with my business. But the fact that you can make the car your own,
right,
to whatever extent you want to, if you want yours OEM plus super clean, you did the minimal stuff. You did exactly what the car maybe came with and made sure it was as clean as possible. There's other guys out there who are making them as crazy as possible, whatever, engine swaps, and there's so much aftermarket support with the JDM cars because these are the people who are tuning them. And they throw the parts out worldwide, and everyone has a different interpretation of what their vehicle should look like or what they have built for it. And that's the beauty of it, because we all enjoy the same thing, but we all have different ideas of what it should look like.
So it's a matter of having that vision too, because it's like,
you have to.
Right, but here's the thing, like you can be a car enthusiast, right? And I think we've all witnessed this in our time. You could be a car enthusiast, you can love cars, not have a vision, and then put something together and it looks like shit.
Those are the
beginners. Well, yeah, that's why you try and stay away from that.
But there's always guys like, oh, my car looks so dope.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, your wheels stick out way too past fender.
Scared.
It's not as low as it should be. Ain't scared sticker. That's older. That's older.
There's a like a level of that. There's one where someone they'll always love their car regardless of what the mainstream people say is cool or not cool,
right.
And they can respect their cars. That's up to them. They enjoy it. Cool. I'm not going to bash them.
That's not the crowd that I guess we would normally associate with.
Japan is very accepting. All those guys, they accept their
Japan is fascinating because it was like, oh, what's that?
I've yet to been still.
What's that new scene? What's that new scene that they got where it's like really outlandish looking cars, like tailpipes out to like
and they don't get shit for it.
What is it? The Bozozoka?
That's it.
That's been a while for a long time.
Yeah, but it's just crazy because it's like you have purists, right?
Yeah,
and then you have like guys like that to the other extreme,
and they love each other.
Yeah,
they have no problem with each other's design.
I don't know about loving each other.
No, I mean like they have
love you.
They have the same love, and they don't give each other shit for each other's cars. Like here, you put one sticker in your car and you're like done at any meet.
I feel like even that's changed. Like from I understand what you're saying because that was very commonplace when we were more in the scene, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like it's quite that way anymore. I mean, I could be wrong.
I mean, it's all over the place. It's a little bit of everything. If you're not so accepting of someone else's cars and the way they design it, you don't have to voice it to them, to their face. Keep it to yourself. But some people like to, say it out loud and let them know what they think of their car. But a lot of people will do that to kind of raise their vehicle as well. They put someone else down because they think their car should look exactly like theirs, or say that their car is better, and instead just kind of lower someone else. You should always bring up your fellow friends, enthusiasts. Maybe show them the right way. But
that's how it should be. That's how the car community should always be. And they're always going to have those dickheads, for lack of better words, but.
There's got to be balance. So there's, like you said, there's always going to be people doing that. There's always going to be people who will always cherish anyone's car, but with that there's going to be balance. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So if you could pick one car right now, from any time period, it has to be JDM, obviously.
I already know.
Okay.
It has to be JDM.
It has to be JDM, or it has to be Japanese built. Because JDM would mean Japanese domestic market, which, that could be a lot of things.
Wow, that's
built by a Japanese car company.
Toyota, it'd be a 2000 GT.
I should pick one car?
No. R34 GTR Z-Tune, and that's it.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
The beautiful silver one.
Well, I do like the silver.
Well, they only came in silver, didn't they?
So, a couple, I think we'll just start with the one. There was one car that basically was a Midnight Purple 3. R34 GTR, and that car, the owner vouched to have that color stay because of its rarity. It was able to be accepted into the Z-Tune program. After a year back and forth with Nissan finally let the vehicle stay that color and not go, I believe it was KY1, which is that Z-Tune silver. But there's a Midnight Purple 3. It's one of 19 that was sent out.
So this is the regular Z-Tune, correct?
super rare.
There's nothing regular about a Z-Tune.
No. Well, I mean, not to this.
But yeah, that's a Z-Tune. That's a Z-Tune.
I mean, it is a beautiful car.
It's the Nizmo catalog thrown at already an outstanding vehicle.
So if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember that Nissan actually bought back a handful of R34 Skylines. They brought them back into 20 of them. Mm-hmm. Brought them back into the factory, stripped them apart, stiffened up all the welds. They stripped it down to bare metal.
Yeah, they redid the whole vehicle, like I said, through the whole
top to bottom, right?
Catalog at Nizmo.
Yeah, this thing is like,
wow.
It's the pinnacle of what Nizmo stood for. And this actually came out in 2005 as a reproduction of
the engine, it was originally an RB26, but I think
it was bored to an RB28.
28 or 3.0?
I think it was a 2.8. I should know this, shouldn't
I? Well, let's put.
But it made 500 horsepower.
Yeah, which is past that gentleman's agreement thing, which is another thing.
Oh, there was at that point.
What do they do to suspension, geometry?
Suspension, they have a whole bunch of Nizmo arms reinforcement, different bushings. They had dampeners.
It's just like nothing was left stuck.
Nothing was left alone. The Nizmo team got the car. They made it track ready to do whatever the driver needed it to do.
Yeah, it's like a race car, a brand new race car.
Like I said, obviously very limited numbers. They're all spoken for.
So how much do they go for now?
Well, I want to say the last one that sold was in Thailand. It was sold for 1.1 mil.
US dollar.
Yeah, US dollar. I want to.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I thought R32s were a lot for 25,000.
No, if you can, that's where you'll find most GTSTs at this point now.
Over there.
Yeah, they've doubled in value pretty substantially.
That's a promotion.
I mean, that's an iconic car in that setup. It's heavenly.
Yeah, this car is just like.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I can't stand about the car is the steering wheel, though. It resembles the Spec V Sentra steering wheel. It just looks out of place. So the original steering wheel looked really good for it, but that's the only thing I would change. But yeah, the car, it's a legend in song.
You said 20? You lied to me.
What?
19 examples.
No, 19 examples. One's at the museum.
2 prototypes.
One's at a Moray factory.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. They purchased 12
used. They had to be under, I believe, 30,000 miles.
Yeah,
kilometers.
29,000 kilometers, 18,000 miles.
Yeah.
The remaining 7 were donated to owners who wanted to convert their Spec B models into Z-Tune cars.
Must have been handpicked.
The guy who actually has the Midnight Purple 3 Z-Tune actually has another one. He has 2.
I got an answer to the RB.
He's on YouTube.
Engine.
It's an RB28X.
Well, so it starts off as an RB26, and then they bump it up to 2.8.
There, yeah, 2.8.
So there you go.
500 horsepower. I'm on it. I just sometimes forget.
See, this is why you are the Nizmo plug.
A lot of people know this info now. It's all out there.
Yeah, it is.
Where I come into my own is doing the parts.
You know that little niche that what part was on here.
I usually know the part number in my head.
You can typically get it, but you've been having trouble. Do you want to speak to maybe somebody that?
Yeah, because you know what, a lot of my customers ask this now, and I always get the messages. Hey, can you look up this part? Is it discontinued? How long will it take? And through the last couple of years before COVID, we were rocking and rolling. I mean, it was 4 to 6 weeks to receive most items from Japan. Through COVID, those numbers doubled, and they've gone upwards from there. We've had back orders. There's a lot of items that are no longer available. Things have moved over to this heritage program that was originally going to be released to the U.S., but stayed only to the Japanese market. So we are exempt from ordering any of these heritage parts. The heritage parts are now only Japanese vendors and Japanese domestic market locations that can sell it.
Why do they do that?
I believe they did that to pretty much monopolize this whole thing.
That sounds a lot like the Hellcat parts. I think you need a title to buy any parts. So you got to prove that you own the car, because even the headlights have the Hellcat embroidered inside the headlight.
If you were to make a whole bunch of Hellcat parts and put it on a vehicle that wasn't a Hellcat, it would lower the value of that car, and then at the same time, the Hellcat values will go down. With these cars, though, a lot of these parts are needed, and a lot of them are maintenance parts to help these owners that are now getting these cars after all this time of waiting.
This is the Midnight Purple. I'm sorry,
That's
guys.
The Midnight Purple.
I don't want to interrupt. Wow, that is fucking beautiful.
Yeah. That's almost chameleon. Although,
remember that the whole chameleon
color changing.
Yeah, that was a big thing in the early 2000s.
It was. I always wonder what they put down on registration.
That's not the Z-Tune, though. That's just that's not the Z-Tune.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to bring you false information.
Not digging.
So pick
fender.
a Z-Tune, because obviously this is what I got search wise. Is this it?
Right there. This. That'd be it. Extremely rare midnight. Nope. Yep, that one. Yep.
Yep.
Oh. So the Z-Tune had special dry carbon front bumper, hood. It had the fenders as well.
Because that one was terrible.
I'm glad they didn't change the appearance too much.
They changed a lot of things, but they kept it within reason and subtle. Yeah. And they're like slight cues, but it's definitely more aggressive. You can definitely see how it's functional as well. Like even changing the bumper.
Perfect. Yeah.
So
they didn't add like crazy wings. They didn't add anything nuts to it. It just looks.
I'm actually having a hard time.
You're horrible at this.
Yeah, my first time. I don't know what the hell it's supposed to look like. I'm just pulling up pictures.
You had it before. You had it before.
Yeah, but the image quality was just horrible. This is not it. Right? This one. Oh yeah, here we go. Because that's another Z-Tune right next to it.
Yeah.
So that must be it. And then this is a 350 right here.
That's a R35 GTR.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
That's the thing that pissed me off the most about the R35.
Yeah,
it looked like a slightly modified 350Z or 370Z.
You can see the headlights.
I know it's not, but I know it's not. But that pissed me off because there was always a distinction between the Z cars and the Skylines, and the Silvias, or the 240s as we knew them here. There was always a distinction, but it just felt like Nissan just got like sloppy, and I feel like they've been on.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
There's been a bunch of hands now in the pot, and I mean we can talk about this all day. But once well,
you want to touch on that when we come back from break?
Yeah, sure. Okay. I'll touch it.
We'll talk about the downfall of
of Nissan.
All right, and we're back. Took a little break here. So we were talking outside, and you had an interesting story.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
A little smoke break. We were talking,
I was the only smoker, but yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, talking to customers, they always need new parts. And a lot of these guys who've had these cars, the values are continuously going up. I had a customer contact me and told me he was looking for a shift knob. It was for his R34, which, I have a lot of customers R34 based, whether they're international or U.S. It doesn't matter. This guy was located in our region.
Wide.
What? Worldwide.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And
black leather gloves.
He was looking for just a shift knob. He's telling me R34, it's a GTR V-Spec 2 NER, which is very low quantities made. On top of that, it's Millennium Jade, and it has 19,000 kilometers.
That sounds very rare.
It's rare. That's rare. So he had no idea what he had or what the value has climbed to. These cars are selling over 300, 400,000, depending on mileage and the grade that they do at auction. But the bids are up there. They're going almost north of $500,000. This customer brought this car into the U.S. about 12 years ago. He told me for about $80,000.
Wow,
that sounds about right.
This car now, I mean, we were able to find
it's a rare
someone.
Vehicle, so.
We were able to find someone within 2 days who wanted to buy it at $300,000, and he instantly got scared because he's had this car for so long and he just didn't know the value of these things anymore because there's such a bubble going on with these vehicles. Everyone wants them. It's been the forbidden fruit for so long. I mean, with a whole bunch of other vehicles, but the 34 always had a special place in a lot of enthusiasts' hearts, and getting one of those shows something. It's like a child dream that you've always had.
Because I think a lot of it had to do with, and I think we mentioned this on the last car-centric podcast that we did, a lot of it has to do with like video games, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Gran Turismo especially.
Culture.
Forgetting.
Our culture, pop culture.
You're forgetting what started it all.
Don't say Fast and the Furious.
You have to, man. Ugh. Well, okay, all right. Let's say Gran Turismo.
Yeah, Gran Turismo was definitely
what really set off the entire thing was the movie.
Yeah, it was the movie.
Yeah, but the Skyline.
But the R34 in particular, I feel like a lot of people were. It was like me with the Evo 7, and even the R34. I didn't know what the hell it was. I didn't know most of these cars were, but Gran Turismo was like taught you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and you're right, it was the forbidden fruit because there was no way possible for you to get it. Now, we're not going to go into details, but obviously there are means of getting that car into this country.
Motorex,
which is that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of these cars coming in illegally, whether they're being sent over in parts and then put together over, or they know someone, and there's always someone who is paying someone off at the port getting these cars over here. I don't know if you've heard, but
nobody ever gets paid off at the port.
That was my Civic. Gray market video.
Just about 400 cars in Florida.
I'm defending my own people. No, that does not happen.
Yeah, okay.
All right, go ahead. Okay. I'm sorry.
I don't know if you saw. I mean, Sean Morris actually talked on this from Top Rank. He was doing an interview with Joe Lieberman, who is actually one of the main creators of all the vehicles from Fast and Furious series.
Yeah,
when it first started out.
Him,
but Florida actually recalled about almost 400 vehicles, not all Skylines, but other vehicles that were brought over illegally and now are blacklisted, which means they have to be sent out of the country, or Homeland Security will also take them and shred them.
I don't know how well.
Can you move your phone over to that side real quick?
Is that the static?
Yeah, I was getting a weird feedback. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty. I think we're back into it.
Yeah.
You were saying?
Many of these vehicles that were brought in illegally, because people are going to want these cars before they're legal, because the prices keep going up as they get closer to being import ready. We've seen it with the 32, 33, 34, Evos, any vehicle that reaches that 25-year rule that's now exempt from EPA and DOT emissions. The values have gone up because we've all wanted these cars that were never allowed into the States. It was stuff that we couldn't touch. And now that it's available, people want it. People who do not know what it is still want it.
Yeah.
They see the value. It's an investment for them.
There was people in Japan buying these up and storing them in warehouses, waiting for it. These are years in advance.
Yeah.
Wrap them in plastic. I mean, from rare to just regular 4-door models. They sold.
Because these are things that I've been trying to collect parts for, so that one day I can do the car properly, fully restore it. Maybe do like a YouTube channel to kind of show what we're capable of as far as parts that are still available.
You definitely have a market for having that kind of content out there, man. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see you just opening these parts
Wander around. Yeah, and I've started doing that on Instagram.
And you post it up on Instagram, and I've seen that, and I'm like, a lot of people it's like unboxing tech. Remember that when that was a big thing? Like everybody's like,
unboxing was a big thing.
Yeah,
still is,
and it still is to some people, especially with stuff like that, because it's even more rare.
And it's part of my daily routine for the most part now. If someone orders something, I have to check the part to make sure that it's the correct part. I've had items that were put in the wrong boxes before, and not just Nizmo items, just OEM Nissan stuff, and it's happened. Sometimes they're the wrong paint code.
Looking at you, Amazon. No.
Little bait and switch.
Yeah, a little bait switch.
Oh, man.
But, if I'm opening it up, I might as well take a video. And I've had a couple suggestions of, just actually showing the process of how I go about wrapping it.
The more transparent you are, the more accepted you will be, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's true through a lot of things, especially on the internet these days.
Yeah.
What's this fucker?
Oh, the table?
He's missing the fucking A-beam.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Yeah, I got to actually make a new table. I got to make a new table. It's a whole thing. All right.
It's a door.
Sorry about that, guys. We were having technical difficulties again.
Yeah.
Because, this is not a pro studio.
It's getting.
I know it looks like it. I know it looks like it.
I wish these guys can see the whole setup, because you've put in some work.
Yeah, I posted it up on my Instagram. Oh. I've done a little behind the scenes.
He's got videos.
I got some videos out there.
He's been around the block.
Been here.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Chop block.
The chop block.
Hit him with it.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong one. Nope.
You got better.
That's the one. They're not labeled.
4 different ones.
That's not. Hold on. There we go.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
Bruh. Anyway, I'm sorry. You were saying.
I don't even know what we were saying.
We're having fun.
So anyway, moving on. We were going to talk about the demise or the downfall of the Nissan executive known as Carlos Gomez.
Carlos Ghosn.
Oh, Go?
Yeah, Ghosn. It's there's some silent letters in there, but it's Ghosn.
I'm sure they called him the Goon.
This is recently from. Actually, not so recently. So, for those that are not aware, the CEO of what was it, Renault or Nissan?
This is the new Nissan CEO. He's telling Tokyo Court Carlos Ghosn had too much power.
Okay.
But that's, once again, I mean,
so what's your perspective on
other puppeteers?
Yeah, what's your perspective on what really happened with that? Because for those that aren't in the know, maybe give us like a little quick, look-see into it. Because I know Nissan is slowly they're having trouble. They're not building cars the way they used to. No. The quality's gone to shit. I know they're not selling them. And they're charging up the ass because they can't sell them. It's a huge issue. Just a quick example, like Mike the Hitman, who was on the podcast prior, and he'll be making another appearance in the near future as well. His wife has a Nissan Rogue, example, right? She was leasing it, and it was like, 3-something.
Like a newer one?
Like a newer one.
T32D? T32D?
Whatever that means.
Okay. This guy.
Yeah, and this guy, he knows it. Yeah. He knows it. Listen, guys, if you don't think he knows his Nissans, he knows his
chassis code stuff.
No, I understand, but I couldn't tell you what a Nissan Rogue chassis code is.
That is your world, so it makes sense.
That's your wheelhouse. It was whatever the previous generation to the current one is. It was 3 years ago, whatever. It was recent. And she was paying like $350 a month or something like that for the lease, which already was a little high on the high end. So he went back, the lease was up. He's like, well, what can you do for me? He's like, best we could do is $520 a month for a lease. I'm like, for a Rogue?
For the same car.
Well, it's the newer generation,
one,
but but still, it's not like
point, they're just whacking them over the head at this point.
Yeah, so he's like, all right, well, how I'm just gonna buy it out, and that's what a lot of people are doing. Yeah. So, but I just feel like that Nissan, and that's not the first time too, because the Titan, for example, the Titan's gone to shit. Nobody's buying that. They were selling those things for.
I heard their trucks.
The Cummins was a good.
That's
idea.
What it is. It's a Titan.
Yeah, I heard all their trucks are like.
So what's your?
Good.
Well, I mean, first off, with the lease agreement, we don't know where this person was, if they're upside down on their loan anyway. It could have rolled over and caused their monthly rates to be higher. So there's not enough info to really know that full scope of things on that.
Well,
so
I could tell you for a fact that he's good when it comes to that kind of stuff. There was no issue there. It was just
the values go down too, and he may be getting into a newer vehicle that didn't have a good lease program. There's so many different things.
That's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot, and you don't do it at that point. They tried doing the same thing to me, even at my own dealer. They couldn't give me a deal under $400. And
what other cars can you get for $500 a month?
You can get
these
a lot.
These
like
days,
luxury, right?
In the past, yeah, that kind of number was like a more of a luxury number.
I would think like a Lexus or a BMW at least.
Well, you got to remember the market. The market's all nutty right now when it comes to cars, man.
Well, it's absurd. What kind of world? What time was this at? I mean, what time?
Recent.
It's recent.
This is recent.
So
we know what's going on with the new cars, the used car market now. I mean, supply chain.
Yeah,
it's bad, and that's what's causing all these
chip
issues.
shortage still that we're dealing. Yeah.
It's what's going on with these whole parts too. A lot of the times, these parts, it's supply and demand. There's a lot of people who want these parts, not enough to go around. So if someone wants it bad enough, there's going to be a certain margin of money that someone's willing to pay. Mm-hmm. If there's only 4 of these parts left in the country because they're not shipping anymore over, or it takes so long, it took me a year to get 1 steering wheel.
That's insane. That's crazy.
And that could be coming from multiple manufacturers, whoever Nissan outsources to get the material as far as the leathers, the steering wheel itself. Mm-hmm. It just takes that time, and time is money. And if you're looking to get this car ready for a SEMA build next year, and you're trying to make sure it's OEM plus, you're trying to get the steering wheel, and no one has it. If only one person has it, they really own the market on that. So it really comes down to how much supply we can really have, and there's companies doing that. Yeah. Luckily we have a generous amount of stock of a bunch of different things, and a lot of these parts that we as Nizmo Parts Plug hold in our inventory are some things that were special order that no one's looked those up before. Mm-hmm. So now that we have them, it's some items that will never get reproduced or sent over to us again. Either they got discontinued, went to heritage program,
final production,
a lot of that.
Yeah,
that's what you're seeing. There's a lot of people who are getting these cars who want these parts now before they pay for it more in the future. People were grabbing GTRs and they've skyrocketed in price. Then you have people who couldn't afford the new price on the GTRs, so they were grabbing GTTs, and those were relatively cheaper. Once again, that was FR platform, RB25.
I think they were like more bulletproof than 34. He beat the living shit out of that
in certain ways, but like with the values skyrocketing,
they're just as good. I mean, but of course you're missing out on a lot of the other stuff.
Like imagine you bought a 34 GTR, maybe it was just, a V-spec, or not a base R34 GTR. I bought it for $100,000. Next year, who knows, $200,000. Are you going to feel as comfortable modifying this car or driving it around neighborhoods that you're not comfortable, and then, potentially losing this investment? So a lot of these guys are holding on to the cars, they're holding on to parts that you can no longer get. The parts, market has gone crazy with this.
And that's the thing. It's like with a lot of different things, but more so in particular with car parts. It's like, how should I describe this? It's almost like you have to get it as fast as you can before it's gone. Yeah,
you have to know what's a popular part, what gets replaced, what's needed. A lot of times it's a lot of research that goes into this, just, years of knowing research that goes into...
I heard something else.
What did you hear?
I'm not going to say what I heard.
Yeah, there's a lot of research that goes into knowing which parts generally get changed out, or what's needed, what needs to be replaced when someone's refurbishing a car.
When do you think that things will get back to normal? Or normalize in terms of this?
Everybody's asking. I mean,
granted, there's a lot. I'm just asking for a general, not your expertise or anything like that, because nobody's really going to know unless you're.
Well, let me lead you with this first. So when I'm in contact with Nissan Motorsports, who is directly in contact with the Mori factory, they would reply within 24 hours and letting us know what special order items cost and their ETAs. We saw it range from 4 to 6 weeks to go all the way up to 12 to 14 and then plus. And then made to order items were 3 months plus. I've ordered stuff that they gave me ETAs of a year plus as well. And through the transition, Nissan Motorsports promised a lot as far as getting more items to us quicker. And that was like a godsend to us. We knew that more enthusiasts were getting into these cars. They need more items.
These cars are aging.
Yeah. December 23rd of last year, 2021, was the cutoff for ordering items through Nissan Motorsports. After that, everything transferred over to Nissan's DBS system, and you can order it right through their CDK. Through that system now, everything that was in Motorsports catalog, there was about 6,600 items that were generally in their inventory list, which, we had the full sheet. Those items are now transferred to all the different warehouses across the United States, and the master warehouses as well. So any dealership can order these items now, as long as they're willing to look up the part numbers and order for a customer. The issue we're having is now going back and forth with Motorsports because they're not answering any emails. They're only doing product research and development for newer vehicles. So special order items are no longer something that they can order for us by talking to a Mori factory.
So it's a famine thing.
It's becoming that. Yeah. So whatever was here left in the United States, and we can see on our parts locator what's in the warehouse, what's available in the quantity, and where it's located, has started to slowly diminish. So there's less and less. Once something basically goes to a blank screen, it's either restricted or back ordered or unavailable. It will show us all that information, and now we're seeing a lot of the items that we used to stock up on are unavailable. RB20, 25, 26, valve cover gaskets.
Wow, that's crazy.
I can't get them. They're on back order, and because it's also restricted after this whole transition, we don't know when we're going to be able to get them again. So for me as a business, I have to kind of act like this is the last that we're going to get. I need to grab a large amount of supply so that I can supply my customers. We get a lot of emails, a lot of messages.
Now, how's the competition in your environment?
It's a niche
circles.
It's a niche marketplace, but we know most of the other people who are doing exactly what I'm doing.
Right.
There's dealerships now getting more into this, into this ring. There's a couple other
and
outside parties.
That's a lot harder to compete with, I imagine, the dealerships.
It is because, one, they have an unlimited amount of money to pour into inventory. It's not technically their money, it's whoever owns that dealership, and they're just buying inventory,
of course, as
much as they can.
But their funds are a lot longer.
They're funded. Anything that you see on the website that I have is everything that I've purchased with my own money. There's not one time where I've ever asked anyone for a handout trying to get money from other people or loans. I haven't done any of that. It's everything that I put in myself, self-sacrifice, just to fund my own business and help my own customers and friends too.
That's what being an entrepreneur is about, man. It's all about the quality of what you're providing to your customers and your respective services.
Taking a chance.
You can ask a lot of the customers. I mean, not there's a lot of guys that
you're clearly a very knowledgeable person, especially when it comes to within these circles. Yeah. And it's like I think that counts a lot towards value as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's people internationally just contacting me, and if I see this at the middle of the night, I'll be in the middle of sleep and I'll see someone has a question on a part, and I'm just thinking, like, do I wait now till later to message them, or just have like a 3-hour conversation at 3 a.m. in the morning with a guy from Dubai, whether or not these parts are available, what he can do, what parts cross over, what's his best route, what he should stock up on, because he has that vehicle and he wants to maintain it as long as possible.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If these girls on OnlyFans have taught me one thing, not that I go on OnlyFans, it's that a guy calls you in the middle of the night from Dubai, you pick up that phone.
I pick up the phone.
That's right. You go be his
Saudi Arabia, Dubai,
his hookup, his plug.
Yeah, I believe we've shipped things over to 25 different international locations at this point. Wow. Yeah,
that's big. That's major, and it says something that that you're as dedicated as you are, and I think your customers should really appreciate that.
They do. I like to think that they do, and they know, because I speak to them. I send them the photos of everything that I box up. They love the way it's packaged.
That's important.
One of the customers said, "Hey, do you know this guy?"
And you're an enthusiast as well, so it's like you relate to them. It's not like you're doing this.
Yourself buying those parts. What do I want?
It's a passion project. It's not. It's not necessarily. You're just doing it just for the funds.
This whole thing started when I started in parts. I had an S13 hatch, and I memorized the VIN from putting it into the Nissan Fast System so much that I was looking up parts after everyone left just to see what was available and ordering them for my own vehicle. And that blew up into this, when Sylvia Forum was still very relevant. A lot of guys were posting their builds up there before Instagram and Facebook was really being utilized for that. And it just trickled into this, and, contacting different people, talking to different customers, them looking for stuff. Hard to find parts, stuff that I may have in stock, stuff that I may need to get from Japan. Right. So it's definitely escalated since the website's been out. I mean, the website's only 3 years old, but I've been doing this, 12 plus years.
And you can only grow.
Oh yeah, it's going to continue growing.
It's expansion too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're expanding right now. Actually, we have an event with Fitted Visions at Princeton Airport, June 5th. It's going to be the Northeast Skyline meet. It's Skyline and Friends, so it's going to be open to Skylines and every other car.
Be some nice whips over there.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. We have a lot of people who probably
Skyline's always magical
3+ hours away. Yeah, we hope to get a couple of YouTubers out, get some video coverage.
Here you go, guys. This is what Dylan's talking about here.
Northeast.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's Skyline. Okay. The Northeast Skyline meet. So this is our 4th annual. We started doing this in Edison. The first event, we had less than a month of preparation. We still had over 75 Skylines show up to this thing, which is a high amount, especially in the tri-state area. And since then, the numbers have only doubled. The last one was in AC, and this one, Princeton Airport in Princeton, New Jersey. We have the hangar open. We're looking to have over 300 cars.
Guys, if you guys are interested, I'll put a link below on for actually anywhere, if you're listening, watching, whatever the case is, in the description below. For this website, and you guys can check it out for yourself. And
what day is it on?
It's June 5th.
June 5th.
Yeah, June 5th.
That's right around.
We're gonna have.
That's an awesome venue too. Being at an airport.
Yeah.
Car meet. That's awesome, dude. And this thing is definitely a great website too. You have different hotels that you can stay at.
Different hotel availability.
Cool.
Maps. Tickets are available. For the vendors out there, there's vendors also out there, as well as merch if you guys want to help out.
Is this where they had Hella Flush?
Well, my first introduction to this whole venue was through Christian with Cannabeat. So it was always held sometime around my birthday. Okay.
Rick, you want to pull the microphone closer to you, Ben?
Not really.
Okay. Thanks.
Hello?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was always my first thought when it came to Princeton, and they always had amazing shows, and it was sad to see them go after 10 years, but they did a great job, and I know they needed to move on from that location. And there's been a lot of people bringing up some more venues here. Los Goonies is going to have their Panda Fest the 1st of April.
That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a huge event. Yeah. I'll be vendoring there.
There you go, guys. So. Go check them out if you really want to get your hookup.
You can definitely find some rare parts in there that sometimes aren't even on the website, because a lot of those items that are too big.
In person, meet the man.
Yeah, you can take a photo with me, sign.
I mean, let's not get too crazy here. Bro, this YouTube channel ain't that big now.
No, I don't have
it. What am I up to? 60 subscribers, maybe, if that. Yeah. So
no, but yeah, plenty of stuff. We're gonna have some goodies. We're gonna have some giveaways. We're gonna have a low car limbo. MC Slick is gonna be.
You gotta have break dancers.
Possibly.
No, man, you don't know about the limbo thing. Yeah. How low can you get in a car?
Like,
low car limbo.
Okay. Low car limbo. Saw that before.
Yeah.
No.
It's a thing. I thought it's just the broomstick.
No. Hold on. Now you got.
Is this something? I mean, how can you call it the same thing?
With the low car limbo?
Yeah. What is it called?
It's a low car limbo. So it's basically you're limboing, but based on your car, how low it is.
Cool. Yeah. I could never drive a car that low, man. I'd be afraid of the oil pan breaking right off.
Oh my god! It's funny. I was just telling somebody a story. So, like, look, guys. Here's what we're talking about here. All these degenerates.
That's funny.
So it's like, how low can you get your car? Obviously, a lot of you listening, watching may already know about this. For those that don't, it's pretty much a limbo contest for your car.
That Toyota, nice.
Slammed. Look at that.
So nice. Very nice.
Obviously, Miata's going to win. These things are already low as
Miatas and S2000s may get an unfair advantage here. So
S2000? Oh, here you go.
They get their own category. They're too low. They're born that way.
Wow, it looks a lot nicer than that white or blue one I've seen.
Yeah.
Hey, look, Rick.
Side markers. Look at that. Frank, side markers on this
Side markers. Inside joke. Anyway, so we're going to segue into something real quick that I've been having up here. So we were talking earlier about STI getting killed off, right, guys?
Yep.
So there is a conspiracy theory out there.
There it is.
That, in fact, let me just double check here. Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay. So Toyota announced last week, last week or so now at this point. By the time you guys are hearing it, it might be 2 weeks ago. That they are releasing finally an actual performance, affordable performance,
hot hatch,
or just a performance car in general. Because realistically, I mean, bro, not for nothing, the platform with the FT86 or whatever it is, cool, but it's not dope.
It's going to be a hot hatch. It's going to be definitely.
It was a good segue into this. You know, they needed to test out the market to see if it was there.
But okay, so Rick is not familiar with this car at all.
I am familiar with the car. I'm not aware of this new trim.
All right, ready for this? This is gonna blow your mind. So this is a 3-cylinder engine. This is a 3-cylinder turbo. Yeah. Yep.
You know what? I'm not gonna knock it because
it makes
engines today are totally different.
Absolutely.
As far as 3 cylinders go, I bet you it probably produces like a 4.
You have to see the
it's a big. Hold on, it's a big 3-cylinder. It's a 1.6.
1.6,
which is big for a 3-cylinder if you think about it. It makes 300 horsepower.
It is very impressive.
All-wheel drive, correct? All-wheel drive.
It is.
It is an all-wheel drive, 6-speed manual. With I don't think they're coming out with any kind of DCT or
no, only available in 6-speed manual.
I hope it's like the Type R. It's only.
And the starting
one
price.
Transmission,
one transmission, and then you have adjustability, I believe, on the all-wheel drive system and torque delivery. So I think it's 70/30.
On what?
On this? On the GR.
On the GR.
GR Corolla. On this bad boy.
Now,
this car actually excites me, and not for nothing. The Toyota's coming out because we were talking about this with the All-Track earlier. Toyota hasn't really had I mean, the Supra that's a whole nother animal.
Now they had like a patch of very boring basic cars.
Right. Like the MR2 was meh. The last MR2, meh.
Yeah.
The Celica died off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the FT's cool, but it's not turbo.
It's actually only 200 horsepower, right?
That's something. That's 200?
Something around that.
203.
What is that?
But about 200 horsepower or so. But, that's the entry-level vehicle. And it is, once again, an FR platform. This being a hot hatch, turbo, 3-cylinder.
Dude, this is practical.
If you can pull up a photo of the skirts on the cylinder, on the engine block, they are thick.
This is a U.S. model?
This is the U.S. model. So we're getting the Corolla. Overseas, they have the Yaris.
This thing's going to dominate, man.
Well,
this looks like one of those cars that you can't touch. It's in a different country.
They'll have 2 models of the GR Corolla, and I believe one's the Circuit, Another one's more of
what it said, circuit.
And the other one's a lower platform that doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but I mean, still great value, beautiful car. And
is this what you were talking about?
No, that's a 4-cylinder.
Oh, right. Sorry.
How cute. Did they make them for men?
But do they make this car for men?
Yeah. That's very cute. Did they make them for men?
Joking, obviously.
What you put in?
I put in
I see
new Corolla GR engine block.
Put in GR Corolla engine.
Okay.
Come right up.
By the way, what does GR stand for? Anybody?
Kazoo Racing.
There you go. Very good. I did know that, by the way.
This guy's hard drive is full of interesting facts.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of 4-cylinder engines here.
The actual CEO of Toyota is an enthusiast himself, and you can see how far this actually
I mean, I know this isn't the right
Toyota,
engine, but look at these sleeves. Man.
The 3-cylinder sleeves are actually beefier than that, which means they should be able to withstand.
For 300 horsepower, absolutely.
And we're talking right out the gate 300. Yeah. I mean, who knows if they've nerfed it or not. I mean,
yeah, if they flash that thing, they
so if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the same motor that they used in the GR Yaris, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So
and these guys are pumping up 500 horse to the wheel.
That's fucking nuts, bro. Out of a 3-cylinder.
It's a race car.
Yeah, man.
But they'll rebuild it right after the race.
Listen,
keep that in mind.
You drove a car that made 300 and something horsepower, right? That was a hatchback.
400. Okay.
That's over 150 horsepower per cylinder.
Okay.
It's over 150 horsepower per cylinder.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, bro.
You know?
But so back to what I originally wanted to talk about in terms of it's a limbo thing.
Sure.
About this car. So it's interesting. Yeah, I know it's all plastic.
Disgusting.
That's all modern engine based.
It's like throw up.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So realistically, so we know that Toyota and Subaru have had a partnership, right?
In the past,
with the BRZ and whatnot, right? It's a known thing. I find the timing of this all too convenient. They kill off the WRX STI and then they replace it with a Toyota extremely similar in terms of engine power and in terms of its all-wheel drive system, I suppose.
Yeah.
Half the car.
But you know what's crazy about this is there's 3 modes to this car and for the 4-wheel drive system.
Like the Type R.
So it can go. Fuck. Now I really want to look it up.
It's a torque split difference, so you can vary how much front
pretty
rear.
cool.
The Type R is suspension dampness, I think.
I don't think this has any kind of dampening adjustment electronically.
This is probably boost controlling or something.
No. So this has here it is.
60-40, 50-50.
So it can go 30-70.
Okay.
50-50 or 60-40. So depending on what you're utilizing the car for, so obviously you're going to want to do 60-40 for day-to-day driving, and then to have some real fun, you're going to do 30-70. Or if you're looking to have the best possible time around the course, you want the 50-50.
Dude,
you know what's very convenient as well?
Right there, all day long.
Ryan Turk.
Yeah.
Ryan Turk in the new GR Corolla podiumed first place with the new GR at the first FD event this year. So perfect timing. You know, the vehicle's released.
Yeah,
Subaru STI no longer axed. It could have been something that would just seem like a space for them to fill after they noticed Subaru was not going to renew the STI. They had the Yaris, so
that's pretty good MPGs.
It's not bad. 30 miles per gallon.
That's decent.
The Veloster N will probably be its main competitor now, and the Veloster N is way underrated. But
excuse me,
Veloster N.
No thanks.
How dare you disrespect Volkswagen?
No thanks. You can't. No.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. See, everyone underestimates that. The N stands for Nürburgring. That has
my favorite track.
Quick time at the.
By the way, I'm referring to the Golf R as its main competitor.
No comment. I'm not going to.
Okay. This interior is nice, man.
Very comfortable. Very comfy. Wow.
I mean, let's be real here.
It's a beautiful car.
It's a very, very nice car.
Wow, look how wide those fenders are.
Yeah,
looks like a Subi.
That's the that's the other thing about this car. So I'll be honest with you, when this generation Corolla was released in the hatchback, I said, "Yo, that's a really cool looking car."
Yeah.
And I think at the time I was still shopping around for a new. That's really nice. So the fenders are wider. The track is the track of the width of the car is a slightly wider.
That power. How light is the car?
Oh, that's a great question. This is the only thing, I'm sorry, real quick. This is the only thing that bothers me. So if you guys see here, 3 exhausts. So there's something to those 3 exhausts. You want to explain what that is, Dylan?
Well, the center exhaust opens at a certain RPM to relieve any kind of back pressure. So it's a straight through. It's just...
That's perfect.
It's a wider parameter of performance for a car that can either utilize the mufflers or, when needed, use a straight
that will be the first thing they're going to rip out when somebody buys that car.
Yeah, that or modify. Maybe they'll block out
open it up.
The mufflers.
But you know what? All open.
Yeah, I can't.
A lot of people don't like that. I think it would look fine as if they changed the tips on the muffler version to just have the straight cutout. If it was almost like a dark chrome, it would almost be hidden to the point where you just saw the center muffler, center exit exhaust.
You know, 3 tips is weird to me.
Yeah, we've got 3 tips right here right now. No, there's nothing weird about that.
Bruh.
No, the green one next to it.
Oh.
There you go. It needs to be a little louder, though.
Yeah, sorry. It can only go so loud. But it's got 3 tips, but it's also 3 tips.
You can't even say it anymore. It's on the tip of your tongue, right?
3 tips.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, 3 tips.
This show has gone south way too fast.
I'll go south.
But it's also a 3-cylinder.
It's great priced.
Well, that's assuming
dealer market.
Yes, that's assuming market adjusted value, as they like to refer to it.
Any sound clips
of this engine?
Because I've heard a 3-cylinder engine before, and it sounded like a WRX. It was a 4-cylinder engine, and one of the spark plug, they were out. It was out. The whole thing was out. And when he started it up, it was Gilly's old car. It sounded like a WRX. What did I just see? Did you see that?
No.
Dude, are they bringing back the all-track name?
It's a GR4.
That's.
This is the drift event. That's Turk at the podium.
That's 1 letter off. That is very dangerously close.
Yeah.
It almost looked like GT4. That sounds so good.
If you really want to see a video, look up a GR Yaris. Because these guys have already had these cars. You'll see what people have been doing with the exhaust notes.
It's not electric, is it?
No.
They do have that rally version that's electric and gas. Did you see that one? It was like a prototype they were racing, and I think they utilized it.
I haven't, but I know the GR Yaris.
I'm not gonna lie, that video got me kind of pumped.
Been available, so there's plenty of videos of exhaust notes on that. So.
I'm really curious to hear what it sounds like, because a 3-cylinder motor,
a 3-cylinder turbo. The turbo is it's its own soundproofing right there with the turbo. You probably won't be able to hear much from it unless you open it up.
These types of cars these days, they make them sound unique.
I just hate when they pump the actual sound of the car
the fake
into
sound,
the cabin.
I heard that's what I was hoping for.
I think it'd sound good with a cam.
It's not gonna sound good in the car, but it's gonna sound good on the outside. See, it's got that fake sound, doesn't it?
I still like my inline 6.
By the way, if you guys are just listening only, this is the Toyota Yaris GR with the sports exhaust.
I'm not buying a new car. I'm not buying a new car.
You're telling yourself that.
I just bought a new car. I'm not buying another one.
It's beautiful. It
is. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I haven't been this excited about a new car in a very long time.
Yeah, it's gonna alter the whole marketplace as far as
I'm a Euro guy.
New vehicle.
You know what I mean?
I would go directly rally look with that thing.
What's gonna be interesting for me is
Castrol
is my enthusiast
in white.
Because we have the Z coming out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's talk about that.
We have the new Z coming out.
Let's go
I'm not too crazy about the way it looks. They try to make it look like the old one, the Datsun.
Yeah. It's definitely a hard feat to do to get the shape exactly right.
Yeah.
But with what they did, they did probably as much as they really could. I think where it's really going to come into is with the rendering and with aftermarket support.
To the yellow one on the right there.
This one?
No, to the left. Right there. It looks like that.
Our first glance at any aftermarket support was actually from TJ Hunt. He did the Street Hunters collaboration on One of the vehicles. Cool. Oh, on Chris Forsberg. Chris Forsberg is an FD. He's been in there since the very beginning.
I actually know the name.
He's got the new Z, and he's using the Street Hunter wide body kit. The drift kit. They're going to have multiple kits.
So what is this car replacing? The 350?
370.
370.
Actually, 370's been out of production for a little while now, hasn't it?
370 was in production all the way up until last year.
What was the name of that kit?
A Street Hunter. Street Hunter.
In the R line, in the red,
the red Sport from
Red
Infinity.
Sport. Yeah, same motor, no?
Yeah, it's a VR30 twin turbo.
Would you dare go to Google and search for that? I bet you get different results.
Yeah, what are you looking at?
Probably will. DuckDuckGo, bro. I mean,
DuckDuckGo.
Actually, I should stop using DuckDuckGo because they sold out.
Go.
You know about it.
Watch, I bet you'll get exact response to what you're searching for.
I mean, TJ did a full video of it when, there it is, the first couple pictures. There you go.
Stop for pictures,
for the
they're
first
good.
two?
Yeah, so this kit is actually, I believe, if I'm not misquoting TJ, but this is only a partial of the kit. It doesn't have a couple, like the rear diffuser, side skirt extensions, front lip. Once again, it's being used for drift purposes, so it's not the full kit.
I love the back end of this
taillights
car.
look
but it definitely accentuates what a Z should be. It should have wide rear hips.
Yeah. Just how I like my wood.
And that straight slope.
Yeah. It's got almost like a 432 style rear spoiler lip. Back in the 280Z, the Japanese version had a 432R, and that had a lip spoiler that, very iconic with the sloping rear end on those cars.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's very, very nice. Is this? I'm looking for the front end of this kit. I can't see.
Once again, once the aftermarket support really gets a hand on this, there's going to be so many different kits. Whether, Liberty Walk, Rocket Bunny gets their hand on it. I mean, TJ, like I said. Great job.
I love the Rocket Bunny kits.
Forza.
Yeah.
Where it really comes into its own with Nissan is the enthusiast, because we're such, we love our cars so much. Not to say that other guys in different cars don't.
Hold on.
But there's so much aftermarket support that gets developed.
Oh, this is on Pinterest. Damn it. This is a smoking hot render.
Yeah, it is.
That is really nice. Actually, I dig the wheels. They're very Advin like. You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't seen a split 3-spoke on a car in a while.
Yeah, it kind of works.
It looks good.
I love that spoiler on there, right there. It's really nice.
It's a little different for me. I'm not
a little
totally
much,
with it, but once again,
we're trying to keep it old school.
Supply. I've asked my dealer when we're going to locate some of these.
Is that real?
How many we're going to order. What colors.
350. Sorry, not to cut you off.
Oh.
The Japanese version is going to get a G nose, which is
rounder.
It's rounder. There's a photo of one. It's orange. It's in a burnt orange view. If you put in G nose and get rid of the Street Hunter version, it should come up.
G nose. Oh, that looks like a whole nother car. Is this it?
Yeah.
This is it.
Sick.
See, this is why I don't like Google.
Looks like it's
I click on the picture and I'm not looking for.
There it is.
Oh shit!
That one looks exaggerated. I believe if you look up the one from Nissan directly, they had it at their auto show in Japan, and that's like a little exaggerated in that rendering right there, or that photo. Yeah, I've seen it. I don't know if Google wants to be.
I always like the glass look over the round headlights.
Yeah.
If I can spell official correctly. Sorry. It's very strange for me to type sideways.
Put in 2023.
That same car keeps showing up. It's got fenders, aftermarket fenders.
That car keeps showing up. I don't know. It's very strange. But I will say,
it's a nice car, but
it's a beautiful car.
What is it called in Japan? It's got a different name?
No.
These cars were known as the Fairlady in Japan.
Yeah, maybe it's
Fairlady. I believe it's going to stay Fairlady Z.
That's a good point, Rick. I mean,
do it now. Do it.
That orange one right there, the third one. Yeah.
Damn it! I don't know how to use Google.
I will help you.
It's almost like
is this it here, right here?
Yeah.
That looks like an Aston Martin.
That's the one. See, like this is
Oh, I see how you're saying it was how the other one was.
It's. I really think once again this car's gonna come into its own once aftermarket support gets its hand on.
Well, that's always the thing. I remember being a kid and back in the day when the 350Z came out, and the Z they hadn't made a Z in, I don't know, at that time maybe like 6-7 years, or maybe even longer. Might have been 10 years almost.
So up until in the U.S. the 300ZX went up until 96. In Japan it was till 99. They had a J spec model, had facelift.
What am I thinking? Like 6 years, 7 years?
Well, 2002 is when they had the prototype. 2003 is when the first Z came out in the U.S.
Point is, there was a time period where they didn't make the Z.
Yeah, there was a short period.
And then the 350 came out, and I remember in Super Street, of all things, and Stillen was the only company at the time, I guess because they got dibs on...
Shout out to JR at Stillen.
There you go. And Stillen was the only company at the time, I think, that had early access to it.
I believe that.
Yeah, and they came out with, was it the Supercharger? I remember it was definitely an intake or whatever it was. But they were the only ones coming out with parts right from the start, and that was like...
That prototype, if you look it up, the prototype 350Z was actually based on an S14. And it's hideous, and I'm glad that look up 2002 Z prototype. It's hideous.
I think I've seen it in person.
It's also orange.
Show.
Z prototype.
Prototype. Oh my!
It's that second one.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
What were they thinking?
Well, you know what? I'm not even mad at that because these cars were going to be axed. Nissan had about 40 models that were just not making them any money. Once Carlos stepped in and really revitalized Nissan through the transition from 99 up until 2003 or so, he turned the whole company around. They were about to be bankrupt, and they're on the verge.
I'm glad he did, because that looks like ass.
Yeah, 350 was actually a good looking car.
That's got to be fake, right?
No, I don't think that it is. I mean, that looks like promotional material.
Yeah. It looks like it came out of a 90s Euro magazine.
You know what it looks like? It looks like a bad take on TVR.
A lot of weird cars. I mean, look up the Mid-4. The Honda NSX was a Nissan product at first. It was the Nissan Mid-4 and then Mid-4 2. They bought it out from Acura. Honda bought it out from Nissan as
which one?
The Mid-4. Yeah, this thing. You can see the resemblance. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here! It couldn't get any bigger. It couldn't
get any easier, right?
That's a blatant rip-off, man.
Yo,
I mean,
Rick, did you know this?
Absolutely not. How many were made?
They didn't make them. It was a concept, and then
so there's got to be one.
Dude, that is an NSX.
No, wait. I think I heard of these. There's like, if it's the same car, there's like 3 or 4 of them in existence.
I'm sure Nissan normally keeps in their museums at least the concept cars that they've created. You know, it's something.
I've seen this, man.
Yeah, they had the Mid-4 and Mid-4 2, and then it just never happened. Once again, they had a lot of different models.
Dropping the hammer of the gods on us like unsuspecting fools.
Oh, there's a lot of models.
Here we go, Mid-4 2.
That we don't know about, man.
You can
that is a straight up NSX from the side. It's like, what was that car? Remember that Jaguar made a mid-engine car during the 90s as well? God damn, I can't remember.
The only car I remember from that era was like a concept. Renault, the turbo.
And you know about the 300ZX, the Z32, the headlights that were used, actually Lamborghini used those same headlights. Yeah, I was about to say that they put a cover on it.
They did.
It fulfilled my whole childhood dream of owning a Lamborghini just in a Nissan body.
That pissed me off when I heard about that. And they put them side by side. One has a colored cover.
It's a cover.
And the other one
says Nissan right under it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this came with the what was that?
That looks like a VG.
Yeah,
right?
VG like
VG 30.
Yeah.
DE.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So it would have been a cool project, but you can clearly see where it's got its roots from. I'm glad.
My man, even the interior.
It looks like a Nissan. No, the interior looks more Nissan-ish.
More Nissan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That looks like an S13
Okay, maybe the cluster looks like NSX. That's about it.
That's so fucking crazy to
That's
me, bro.
creepy.
Oh, I was lied to my whole life. Wait till I tell my brother this shit. He's gonna be like,
there's a whole bunch of cars like this, man.
And the R35 engine was developed off the R390 vehicle. That was a VR, I think 35, and they had a 45. The R390 was just a beautiful car. At that. Once again, only 2 of them.
Side by sides. This has a lot of 300ZX.
I like the NSX way better because the nose goes down. That looks like it just looks too high.
Look at the lights on the front. It's the same fucking car.
It is.
Yeah.
The bumper, the lower valance might be a little different.
The more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know. But yeah, so I mean, the market's always doing some crazy things. If you can relate this back to what's going on with the STI, axing the STI, and then having another kind of version of that, just with a different brand.
That's crazy.
This is normal stuff that happens in the market, and some people gravitate to a different brand. Subaru was great, but like you said, the main demographic was geared towards more. A certain party that wasn't really so into the STI was where now Toyota is now entering the more performance realm. I think it's a renaissance of this.
I think entering back into the performance realm.
Yeah, of course.
And you're right. I think it might be a renaissance for Toyota. Maybe one last hurrah. Because everything's going electric, man.
Yeah, look at the Camry. We were talking about the Camry at Duncan, all-wheel drive TRD V6.
I would have never thought that a Camry would be.
You see the Avalon too?
Well, Camry's.
No, stop it.
The Camry used to be a performance car.
Are you serious? Hold on. Are you fucking with me? Avalon's a performance car now?
Yes.
TRD Avalon.
Yes. It looks gorgeous. But Toyota used to be in the performance car with the Camry, the All-Track. They came all-wheel drive, but non-turbo.
This has nothing to do with Nissan.
Nothing.
Yes, it does.
Oh, there you go. There's.
Oh, by the way, guys.
Oh, by the way,
together.
You can use the Chop Block 10 for 10% off.
Hey,
your entire order.
Hear that?
Nizmo Parts
we'll cover that.
We're gonna have that discount code live.
We're going to talk about that at the closing. At the closing. So Avalon, TRD, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shut the fuck
Coupon
up.
code Chop Block Nuts.
Fire.
Sex. Look at that, man.
I don't know how I feel about this.
They look a lot.
It's got a lot of growth.
They look very similar.
It's got a lot of Lexus in it.
Somebody slipped on CAD when they designed that grill.
Got the wrong measurement.
Yeah,
copy paste. No, but I'm not gonna lie. The back end looks
black one.
The fact that they even offer something like this to whoever is buying these,
sharp.
Oh,
that red.
Yeah, it does look good actually.
It looks like an LFA.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of Lexus in this.
Yeah, well, same company, so
I don't like when they paint fixed calipers red, yellow. If it's a floating caliper, let's say Brembo, Akebono,
cool. Yeah.
I'm fine with that. But I don't like when they do something like that.
Why you hating?
It's only
why am I hating?
That's hating.
Because that's just a regular caliper, man. You don't paint those
red. Poor folk. We take that money up.
We used to. Not in our age now.
Get into a Nissan, man.
I painted OEM calipers before.
This is the Camry, right here?
We've all been there.
Yeah. My neighbor's got one. Front wheel drive, though.
I like... they come in all-wheel drive, you said?
Yeah. I'm not liking the wing, though. Without the wing, I'll be happy.
You know what's funny? I actually like the wing.
I think it'll look a lot slicker without the wing.
Those wheels are nice. The same ones they have in the Avalon, I think, right? That I just saw.
Very similar.
And I like that two-tone.
Yeah, it's nice with the ground effect.
I guess I got to get behind the wheel one.
That red line along the bottom, that does it for me.
They stole that from Nissan.
Hey, GLI had it.
Thank you.
Right through the grill, right into the headlights.
I had an 86 GLI and went all the way around.
They did it since the Mark 1 GTI. The GLI,
I saw
the Mark 1 didn't come.
GTI in a gas station just parked sitting there sad. I was going to take a picture of it.
You should have put my number on it.
It was like OEM too, said GTI.
All right, guys.
You got any last questions?
Whose car is that?
Whose car is that? That's actually one of my close friends and customers.
I want to drive that car.
We did a photo entry, and we took some of the best photos, and we added them to our... So that will link you right to the R32 Skyline page with all the R32 parts. There's a couple other ones.
You don't like that?
What do you mean?
You don't like that body style?
No, I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said
you said
I prefer
hated it.
No.
Yeah,
I said I prefer the R33.
You said that looks like butt.
I like my Skylines like my women. Thick and round.
I like mine aged.
They're all aged, my friend.
There's something about the simplicity of that late 80s, 90s monster that just screams out to me, JDM power.
Excuse me?
Gojira.
Gojira.
By the way, Celica is said 3 different ways. Which ways?
Celica?
Serica.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that last one.
Because the L?
Watch
If you're Portuguese, how do you say it? Celica.
I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. That was considered a rich car over there at the time.
It was, actually. Or not. That was my dad's first car in the U.S., by the way. So imagine having a family of 4 in a...
My dad bought his brand new car that he ever bought in the United States was a 1990 Celica ST 1.6.
Oh, my dad had
my first car. I drove it for...
He had a 77 Celica. Was his first car in the U.S.
Yeah, it's old school, man.
Yeah, well, they came over in 76.
It was probably a hatchback.
Yeah, 76, yeah.
So your parents had some kind of influence in the cars that you kind of grew up like?
I'm surprised he's not a Japanese lover.
My brother's a Honda guy, through and through. Yeah. Even though he has an STI.
Older?
He's older. He's 10 years older than I am. My brother-in-law was a huge Nissan head, so I always had influence there. He had an S13 240 Super Hikus in that red that they came in.
Aztec red?
Yeah. And I just love that two-tone. That was just so...
Oh, was it two-tone?
Oh.
It was a hatch or it was a coupe?
It was a hatch.
Okay.
Nice. And then later it was a K. He always kept it a K because he had it since new. And it was had like I think 30,000 miles on it before he had to get rid of it or whatever.
It's going all to KA over SR at this point. And no, don't get me wrong, the SR is a great engine, but with the values going up, you can't. It's hard to find one in good condition.
So many
under
KAs
5,000
out there, bro.
But
there's not a lot of them.
Once again, it's a cast iron block. It's forged bottom end. It has an engine girdle.
It's also already low compression, so you could just boost it. So that's what he did. He boosted it. He made it's an old setup. He had a full T4 on it. That's how old it was. Yeah. And the thing made like 550.
Beautiful.
Back in like 99 or 2000 something.
Yeah.
Awesome car until he crashed it.
I don't know if you follow any of the YouTubers I do. One of my closer YouTubers, Jimmy Oaks, of course, has a YouTube channel where he's currently converting a KA24DE with a turbo kit. And he had it done at JP's, had the full engine rebuilt, race head porting, CFM.
JD what?
JP.
Oh, JP.
S14. Yeah, he's an engine builder. So he started building some of that stuff for him. But the KA is proven. It's going actually into Nisanda, which is a...
I'm sorry, the what?
Nisanda. It's a Nissan-powered rear-wheel drive Honda Civic. It's a Honda Civic. They made a tunnel. It's rear-wheel drive using S13 rear subframe.
Is there?
There's I
must see this. I must see this.
You don't know, Jimmy.
Where do I find this?
You don't know, Jimmy, man.
I need an image.
He's getting upset. Is it a hatchback?
YouTube
or two-door?
I'm not really good with my Hondas. It's a coupe, I believe. I think. I'm gonna say EG.
Because there's one that I saw was a hatchback.
Jimmy Oaks. Nisanda.
Rear-wheel drive Civic right there. Look at that.
They did a beautiful job. There it is.
Excuse me?
After saving with customized
Alrighty. Let's just mute that. It's on commercial. So we're just going to, because, I don't know why YouTube.
You don't pay for not having commercials?
I don't think
it's not possible.
That's a business. It's a business expense.
It is. But if I had a producer, this would all seem much more seamless. But
once again, these engines are going into multiple cars. I mean, the K series are very popular, swaps as well. Make a ton of power for what they are and the size, and plenty of aftermarket support. But
there we go. I'm just gonna make this.
Look at that.
You guys can watch it.
They built the frame.
Shout out to Jimmy Oaks.
Now they're gonna open up the tunnel.
That's the name of the channel
Jimmy
too.
Oaks. Yep, Jimmy Oaks.
All right.
Anxiety.
And this guy's local. Like he's
Connecticut.
Oh, Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Local enough.
Yeah. So very
sick, man.
Very close.
I love builds like this.
He's come to MPP before. He's picked up. He's done some video on YouTube with us as far as picking up parts for his S15, a couple other parts for other things he has going on.
Oh, that's so freaky. Rear-wheel drive Civic.
Hey, next time he's around, see if he wants to be on a podcast.
Well, he's actually going to be at the LZ Drift Party this 16th of this month.
I guess I'll meet him then.
That guy is still making videos, Adam?
Adam, yeah, of course.
Still has the stash going on?
Who's this?
Of course, Adam LZ.
Adam LZ.
I don't know who this is.
He was married to that girl, Nicole.
Stop. Bleep. Don't do it. yeah. But yeah, he's doing big things. He's doing big things right now. He's got, obviously a large, almost museum-sized vehicle list of cars he's got.
Yeah, I've seen them. Very impressive.
One that we've helped him on was the 34. We've gotten a couple parts for his 34. Maintenance items. The most recent was a front windshield that we were able to locate down in my Florida dealership.
This guy's fabbing, bro.
Which is now discontinued. You can't even get the windshields anymore, which is huge.
Yeah, and that's probably hard to...
Can you imagine all these cars coming over here once a 25-year rule?
Yeah.
Is legal for bringing these cars here, and
you need parts.
You get a truck that throws a rock up.
Well, that was my fear with my Type R, because that windshield was not like the US. They were thinner.
Yeah, so if it was thinner,
and if it broke, I would have to probably go with the USDM one. Yeah. I would have felt a little.
Where you have that, there's nothing really aftermarket yet for front windshield, rear windshield. Yeah. There's a lot of these parts that if you didn't order in a certain time period, you cannot get any longer. And that's why these cars, if they're in pristine condition, to even go forward with that. Shout out Mike Valencia. He actually sold V-Spec 2 seats for the R34, which are black charcoal. The S1 were almost a gray, S2 are black. Close to $20,000 for front and rear seats.
Good Lord.
But it demands that price because that's what everyone wants to go to.
Yo, this is shout out Jimmy Oaks, man. This is fucking crazy.
This is expensive.
I highly suggest, if you guys are listening, I highly suggest checking out this video. It's building a rear-wheel drive Honda Civic in 10 minutes. It is listen, if you like to turn the wrench, if you like cars, this is a dope video to watch for sure. 110%.
That's a 10-minute video. I mean, there's multiple episodes. He does daily uploads at this point. There's probably about, I'd say, 15 different videos in depth.
I think he's on a whole nother league than I am. But all right, let's close out here, guys. I think we had a pretty solid episode. We're coming up on 2 hours. It's getting kind of late.
Just Red Bull. Shout out Red Bull.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be up. I'd be sleeping.
They're not paying me, so why should I shout them out?
You start shouting them out, maybe they will pay you.
Nah, not likely.
This episode is sponsored by Red Bull and Nizmo Parts Plug.
That's funny. All right, I guess, Rick, thank you for coming, sir.
Sure.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, fun times.
Plug it up.
Plug something. This episode is brought to you by NizmoPartsPlug.com.
There you go. You got that recorded? I can use it.
Of course I have it recorded. I will clip it, and you
can... I'm going to laugh my ass off every time I hear that.
I'm going to put that in my next reel.
That's good. Dylan, anything you want to add?
Yeah, of course. There's a couple things we got to add.
Go ahead.
Los Goonies Panda Fest, April 1st, Princeton Airport. Then June 5th, Northeast Skyline meet Skyline and Friends. JDM Showdown, June 5th. Come out, bring your friends, bring family, bring your cars. Going to be a great time. Once again, use the code TheChopBlock10 at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Go to the
Do you just feel so warm inside?
I was going to say, I wish you would have mentioned something. You could have said brown 10.
I did this way before you even know. I'm not putting brown 10. The Chop Block 10.
No, just brown 10.
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay. Chop Block 10 is easy. Their name's there, and it's 10% off.
Yeah.
All right.
That explained it.
It's a perfect.
Where can everybody find you? What's your main
Instagram? Instagram.
What's your
Instagram's Nizmo Parts Plug. Facebook is Nizmo Parts Plug with a Z. So it's across the board. It's the same thing on YouTube.
So you're on Instagram,
Facebook,
YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much any major social media.
If you guys missed any of that, it'll all be listed below. I'll be sure to list everything below that we've kind of covered that we can.
Oh, shout out Fitted Visions as well. They're hosting this event June 5th with us as NPP. So it's gonna be a good time.
Gotta get back into the car game, man. There's a lot of meats coming.
He's gonna have a Nissan before the end of this year. I guarantee it.
Yo, if you get him to get a Nissan, that'd be a first.
I think that would be a total change for me, man.
That'll be a first.
That's just the other white meat. You know what I mean?
No, you gotta join the dark side.
Dark side.
Dark meat? Yeah. Is dark meat?
Dark meat's better. You know what they say? Darker the better. You sweat his juice. Anywho, guys, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you.
I had a good time, and as always on the Chop Block, that's what we're all about, having a good time.
Peace.
Later.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one.
Oh, yeah,
definitely.